The majority of white-collar workers now do their duties from home. Commercial real estate, especially office buildings where many employees work from home, was among the most impacted industries. They sat vacant by the thousands. However, due to long-term lease agreements, businesses were still obligated to make monthly rent payments. In other words, commercial property owners fared rather well in 2020 and 2021. Companies are progressively requiring workers to return to the workplace for most days of the week now that the epidemic has passed in the United States. Good news for property managers: the days of telecommuting appear to be numbered. Commercial real estate equities, despite this apparent tailwind, have been plunging recently. Many of the largest U.S. office landlords have seen their share prices fall below where they were before the epidemic hit. Real estate investment trusts, or REITs, are publicly listed real estate holding businesses. How, to put it briefly, is this possible? Now that people are back at work, shouldn't the REITs' fortunes improve? Welcome to Financial Fortune, your trusted source for expert insights and analysis in the world of finance. In today's gripping video, we delve into a looming crisis that has the potential to shake the foundations of the commercial real estate market. Join us as we uncover the $1.5 trillion ticking time bomb, exploring the vulnerabilities, risks, and potential impact on the broader economy. Get ready to gain a deeper understanding of this critical issue. This is Financial Fortune. Two issues arise. First, most businesses sign multi-year tenancy contracts that include steep fines if they are terminated early. A lot of businesses plan to discontinue renting after 2020, but they couldn't do so until their leases ended. Second, property prices tend to be high. As a result, REITs frequently take on large debt in order to finance the acquisition of commercial real estate. Interest rate hikes by the Federal Reserve will force real estate investment trusts to refinance their loans at higher interest rates, at a time when their rental income is falling. The regional banks have taken a defensive attitude in response to the banking crisis that has been ongoing since March, making it much more difficult for them to refinance their debts. Morgan Stanley predicts that a wave of defaults will hit the commercial real estate industry because $1.5 trillion in debt is coming due. Because commercial real estate is worth so much money, this might trigger a financial crisis. Foreign pandemic. Many organizations were pleasantly delighted to find that their white-collar employees could conduct virtually all of their regular office job from home using modern platforms like Slack and Zoom. Working from the comfort of one's own home has several advantages. First, there is a significant reduction in the amount of time spent traveling to and from work. Second, many businesses are based in pricey, high-tax metropolises. They have to pay their employees very high compensation to be able to afford the high cost of living, thus many of them work remotely. Businesses can save money by hiring residents in suburban and rural locations. As a result, they'll be able to get away with far lesser total compensation. Last but not least, there is no need to lease an expensive office facility in a major city if all workers are working from home. Despite the epidemic, several businesses have stated they would maintain remote work options in 2020 and 2021. In 2020, Mark Zuckerberg indicated he would let most of his staff work remotely permanently since he finds it increases his productivity. Many corporations, not just Facebook, made similar promises that they would never again need their employees to come into the office. Even while many occupations might be done from home in theory, the increased number of potential interruptions and the lack of direct supervision are major drawbacks. The impact of working remotely on output cannot be easily measured. The results of standardized tests given to pupils who were coerced into attending classes remotely provide the most accurate proxy. The year 2022 marked a significant decline in academic performance. New York, which was particularly heavily impacted by the epidemic, had a 30-year low in the number of 8th graders who were able to comprehend fundamental math concepts. The state has lowered the bar for academic competency. In any other case, the rate of student failure would be disastrous. While it is feasible to learn remotely, many young people lack the self-control to sit through hours of lectures when they might be playing video games invisibly instead. Even though adults are expected to be more responsible than children, they are nonetheless susceptible to laziness when no one is watching. More and more businesses are doing a complete about-face on their stances on remote employment by the year's conclusion, and especially since the year's commencement in 2023. According to Zuckerberg, more work gets done when employees are there. Thus, Meta is considering making regular office attendance a condition of employment. Meta has been keeping tabs on its employees' production and has found that those that are physically present in the workplace tend to produce higher quality work. Companies like Amazon, Apple, Disney, Goldman Sachs, and Salesforce, just to mention a few, have lately introduced mandatory back-to-work policies. In 2023, 90% of employers aim to need employees to return to the office for at least some days per week, according to a report by Resume Builder. No surveys or estimations are needed to confirm that people are indeed going back to work. Employees may track who has entered their office building by checking the amount of swipes on their electronic card readers, which are manufactured by a firm named Castle Systems. When employees arrive at the office, Castle knows exactly how many there are. In April of 2020, they predict that the number of card swipes will rise to within 15% of their pre-coverage levels. Since then, though, it has been steadily improving. As of May 2022, this is up to 50% of what it was before insurance. The outlook for business is bright as the economy begins to revive. So why is it that office rates have dropped even farther than they did during the pandemic? According to statistics, office building vacancies have been on the rise ever since the flu epidemic started. Issues for property owners. The present level of 13 is greater than at any point during the 2008 financial crisis. The recovery we observe in the Castle card swipe data directly contradicts this. Then how come this is the case? It's because their standards aren't the same. Landlords are only concerned with the number of floors they can rent, not with the number of employees that work there. The vacancy rate is calculated by dividing the total square footage of a building by the amount of space that is currently available for lease. While it's true that employees perform better when physically present at the workplace, even 3 days a week of attendance is usually sufficient for them to feel accountable and network professionally with their coworkers. Many businesses settle on the middle ground of hybrid work, which still needs office space but far less than before. Interest payments and property taxes are the primary costs associated with owning and maintaining an office facility. These costs will always be paid for, no matter the occupancy level. As a result of having to refinance their loans at higher rates, office readers are also witnessing a rise in their interest expenditure. As a result, there are now office buildings whose rental income is insufficient to meet interest costs. The enormous real estate investment firm Brookfield, which owns the 777 Tower and other Los Angeles office buildings, defaulted on debts totaling hundreds of millions of dollars in the first half of the year. A big REIT company named Columbia defaulted on about $2 billion in loans in February, all of which were secured by commercial real estate in major cities including New York, San Francisco, and Boston. RXR Realty, a New York-based real estate investment trust, has announced that it intends to default on debts associated with 10% of its New York City office buildings. Fortunately, these loans do not need to be recorded. The declining value and limited occupancy of these properties is what's causing these funds to fail. The current market worth of the home is lower than the outstanding mortgage. They would be better off defaulting and giving the keys over to their lenders even if they had the funds on hand to make the interest payments, to the point that paying out the mortgage would require selling the building. The loss is borne by the lender. Brookfield asserts that 95% of its properties are of such excellent quality that they can command premium rents without difficulty. Because they feel the value of these properties has decreased, they are voluntarily defaulting on the weakest 5% of their portfolio. Since there is no risk of losing the borrowed money, this dilemma has arrived at a terrible moment for the banks, who may be the largest losers in the property meltdown. And that concludes our eye-opening analysis of the $1.5 trillion ticking time bomb that is commercial real estate. We hope this video has provided you with valuable insights and a clearer perspective on the risks and challenges facing this sector. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. At Financial Fortune, we're committed to keeping you informed and empowered on your financial journey. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, may your investments be guided by prudence and foresight. This is Financial Fortune, signing off.